Om Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarvabhignopashantaye Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham karishyami siddhirbhavatu me sada yenakshara samamnayam adhigamya maheshwarat krishnam vyakaranam proktam tasmai paninaye namaha Vakyakaram Vararuchim Bhashyakaram Patanjalim Paninim Sutrakarancha Pranatosmi Munitrayam Vagarthaviva Samprikto Vagarthav Pratipattaye Jagatah Pitaro Vande Parvati Parameshwarao Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Om A I Un Rilk Eong I ouch Haya Varat Lan Nyama Gana Nam Jabhanya Gadadash Jabagadadash Kapha Chatha Chatha Tav Kapai Sha Sar Hal iti maheshwarani sutrani. Look at suojas. Let's look at both ways. We'll see suojas and we'll see without the pratyaya. Om su o jas ot shas ta bhyam bis nge bhyam bhyas ngasi bhyam bhyas ngas os ni os sup. And then without the pratyaya, sa o aha o aha a bhyam bihi e bhyam bhyaha aha bhyam bhyaha aha oho I oho su o aha. Okay, so this is the chart. So I wanted to pick up today. So today what we're going to do is we're in this last section of Bhave, this Bhave section. We saw Lut. We're going to hopefully continue on to Ganya. This pratyaya here, Gan. That's page 87 in the book. But before I go there, I know that there were some questions last time. I wanted to address those. And then we'll come back to this. Okay. So last class, there was a question about our chart of Su-O-Jas. Haraprasadji or Milaji rose this question, and then so we're going to look at this, and then we're going to see a little bit more than what they asked. Hopefully, and you can help me clarify the question, but the question was, in this chart, it seems like it says masculine, feminine. So can you clarify why it says masculine and feminine? And then just to talk about feminine in general. Am I getting that right? Okay. So when we look at this chart, So this chart is made by the American Sanskrit Institute, and I took this from their site. So just to honor them in this way, there's this Shastri. His name is Vyas Houston. He's American, so his last name Houston. But Vyasa, I love that. I love Vyasa Houston, like a little bit of both cultures. Anyways, the point of this being is this chart. So it says masculine and feminine. Now this is following a little bit of a different format than what we usually see. Why it says 0 and M0, F0 is because this is the base. This is the prototype upon which other forms are made, right? So that's why it's the 0. It's supposed to be the prototype. It's the main thing. Okay. But with that said, it is the prototype for when we're doing consonant ending pratyaya. So this is very useful when we're doing consonant ending words. It is still connected to vowel ending words. So originally that all words take these pratyas, but Panini Muni says that changes take place, and then there's a lot of rules for why the changes take place. There's so many rules for why the changes takes place that we don't even, this isn't like, there's so many rules that we don't even see those rules because it would take more time to look at the rules than just to learn the forms, if that makes sense. So where this is useful is with consonant ending words. It's not as useful with the vowel ending words because there's too many changes that take place. Okay. Now coming back to masculine and feminine. In consonant ending words, this is the base for both masculine and feminine. Okay, so for example, by the way, a similar chart is in Medam Chikaji's book. Without the pratyas, she does have a similar chart, just without the colors. And you can see that, not here, one second. So when I have a word like sugan, okay, this is the first one we learn. And sugan is a good one because we just add it to the su o jas. Okay. So for sugan, I'm just adding, right? Sugan, sugano, suganaha. I add o, I add aha, I add I add o, I aha, a byam bihi, e byam byaha, aha byam byaha, aha o I o su, right? So I'm just adding them to the word sugan. But the point of why I'm bringing this up is that this word in all of these forms can be masculine or feminine. Because that list of pratyas is the same for masculine and feminine. So I can say sugan, sugano, suganaha. That can be a masculine word or it can be a feminine word, depending on who it's talking about. If it's talking about a feminine person or a masculine entity, then it'll take the according gender. But it's the same forms for masculine and feminine because the pratyas are the same for masculine and feminine. Okay, they are the same. Okay, so that is why it says masculine, feminine. Okay, because these forms are the same for masculine and feminine. They're the same. Okay. Now, the Napumsakalinga are the same from third case onwards, but the first two cases are different, right? You get that e. So for consonant ending words, the Napumsakalinga is different for the first two cases, The third case onwards is the same for even Napumsakalinga. Okay. Now, there's a lot of colors in this chart. And this is where the chart can be a little misleading, is that it has pink and it has blue. So it looks like some are feminine, like connected to feminine, some are connected to masculine. That's not, there's no connection there. They just wanted to separate certain sections, so they use pink and blue, but it's not that these ones are feminine and these ones are masculine. No, they're just separating different sections, so they use the same color. I wish they used different colors so that confusion wouldn't arise. We do have that here, where we're not using any colors, but here is what that author tried to highlight, that there's 3 different sections. There's this section, that's these 5, that's a separate, that has specific rules are there for these 5. There's rules for these in dark gray, and then there's different rules for all the ones just in plain white. So there's 3 different sections, and they're divided into 3 different ways, but it has nothing to do with masculine and feminine. Just for completion, it's like that dark bold section is called Sarvanamasthana. The white section is called Ba, and this dark gray section is called Pada. And these, why they've given names is because Panini Muni will say, oh, certain rule applies to the Pada section or the Sarvanamasthana section. And so there's 3 different groupings within the chart. Okay. The last thing I'll say about this before I take a question is we saw Sugan, same with Marut, right? This can be in masculine or feminine because we're just adding the pratyas. Now, this word cannot be in Napumsakalinga. It's only masculine and feminine. Those first 2 cases never take Napumsakalinga. This word, yogin, is masculine. But if we wanted to make it feminine, we have to add a suffix e. And then it becomes yogini. But then it doesn't take those suo just anymore. It declines like nadi. So that's a totally different declension then. So some are this, most are this, those fundamental pratyas, suo just, are added to masculine and feminine. They're the same, but some for the feminine form will take a special addition at the end, an e or an a, and then it declines like Ganga or Nadi, etc. It no longer declines like the suo just addition. Okay. I don't know if this is more than what we want to know. Harprasadji, you want to come in here?
Yes, Mahodaya. Then why does it say then Pullinga Shabda? Here, for example, Marut.
Okay. For Yogin?
No, Marut.
Marut.
Okay. Kṛdanta Pullinga Shabda. It should be Pulling, it should be really Pullinga Strilinga Shabda.
Yeah. And she has that in the so why it says Punlinga, so in the book, this Marut is only Punlinga. But then there's other words like, I think it's suhrit, which decline the same way, but can be in feminine. So what I'm trying to say is that the su'o just can be added, the masculine or feminine. But some words are just masculine or some words are just feminine, but the forms will be the same.
So, okay, am I right to add a word Pullinga / Strilinga Shabdaha?
So yes and no. What is that these Takaranta can be Punlinga or Strilinga. This word Marut, because it refers to Vayu Devata, is only seen in the masculine form. It's only seen as masculine. Even though if we said feminine, it'll be the same declension.
I see, okay.
That's why it's just that we see only Marut as a masculine word,
Okay.
because it refers to Vayu Devata, but the same form can be put Strilinga as well.
Okay. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mahoday, in this connection, I want to ask you.
Yeah.
So in 2-3, it is aha, and the same thing is repeated in 5-1 and 6-1.
Correct.
Is this happens only for masculine words?
No, so for all consonant ending words, even feminine, you do see that this repeats. This one, this aha, and sometimes even 1-3 can be aha, it depends.
Okay.
So that can be feminine too. But some more, you see this more commonly in masculine, because in feminine, some of the words you get that E ending, and then it would decline like Nadi, or A ending, and it would become like Ganga. So you don't see that always in those. But if the feminine declines just like Marut, for example, then it's going to, this can be masculine or feminine, where these will all be aha at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Kuriji, you can unmute yourself.
One good example is Shud, Anushtup, and Ruch. They're all Strilingas, and they follow that table.
Yeah. So if we look in the book, there's other words like Anushtub and Rich. Is that what you're saying?
And Chud.
Yeah, and those follow
the same. They are Strilingas, and they follow that table.
Exactly. Yeah. So those words decline the same way as Marut, but there's some feminine words. Yeah, exactly. So if everyone else wants to look in the book, you can see that in the basic foundation book. Just quickly, just completing this, Urmilaji had a question about Ganga last time, right? Does Ganga follow this format? Well, as I said, there's always, for these vowel ending, there's always changes that take place. So, for example, let me just pick up really any of these, but in 4-1, yai is special to a ending feminine. It's just for this form. So the suo just doesn't even help us anymore, because now there's special editions. Yaha, special to a ending feminine. Yaha, special to ending feminine. Yam is special to a ending feminine. So then they add these changes take place, where now the consonant ending chart isn't really helpful because these things come in.
Okay.
Any other questions here? Feel free to unmute yourself about masculine, feminine, these charts.
So the Ganga makes sense.
Yeah.
Ganga yai, a plus ye, because ye is the suffix yai. A plus ye because vruddhi, right? Yai. Sandhi takes place.
Yeah, we just added. So
Yeah.
Ganga and Yay, Ganga Yay.
But here in the seventh case doesn't make sense. I mean, I'm trying to make sense how they came up with yang.
Yeah. So if you look at the form for 7-1 in feminines is Ganga Yam.
Mhm.
So it's just Ganga, and then they add this Yam is special for feminine. 7-1. Meaning there's no extra thinking involved in that. It's just 7-1 feminine, you add Yam. Why? That's a different.
7-1 feminine with the not vowel endings feminine, not these consonant ending feminine.
Yeah, no, consonant ending feminine is different. That's E. You add E. Yeah.
One question.
Yes.
This exception is not only for a Srilinga, but even for a Pullinga, Rama.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That table doesn't follow exactly that, but some exception for that.
Yeah. So Rama also ending Pullinga, ending Napumsakalinga, they don't follow the Suo just per se, in that there's a lot of changes that take place. So originally they all do, you can say they all do in a way, but then changes take place. So they do and they don't. So it's they're not always that helpful. Where they are helpful is the byam, bis, byam, byaha, bya. This all this section, what we call the pada section, follows the suojas every time. Almost all the time. I never want to say always in Sanskrit. So this whole section you get everywhere. Okay. So masculine, feminine, these kind of things. Just wanted to clarify some of that. So all to say, when you see these chart, don't think the pink and the blue. It has nothing to do with masculine, feminine on this chart. But here it's just saying that it's the same fundamental for a masculine, feminine in consonant ending. Okay. All right. So now what I wanted to do is we're going to start seeing Ganya, but I wanted to show something. Yeah, we'll see how far we get. Okay. So this is the new section. We're in that Bave section. The one we saw before this was Lyut. Now we're in Ganya. These are all under the Bave section because they're often seen in the sense of Bhava, in the sense of the meaning of the root itself, but they can often be in other karakas. So here it says, what does Ganya denote? It denotes Bhava and really any other karaka other than the Karta. So it is, you see this commonly in Bhava, but it can also really be in anything else other than Kartari. It's never, you never see this in Kartari. You can see Karamani, etc. This Gun, both of the letters are it, not fully both of the letters, because this is Ga, so GHA, and the Ga part goes away, right? It is an it letter, and the Un is also an it letter. So you're left with just Akara. Okay. We're going to spend some time about Guna and Vriddhi. Maybe not today. We'll see if we get there today, but maybe not today. Guna and Vriddhi can take place because they're, yeah. Okay, we won't get there. We'll just say Guna and Vriddhi can take place. Okay, we'll see why later. So far we know Ganya is in Bhave. It can be also in the sense of other karakas other than Kartri. The content is Akara. Guna and Vriddhi can take place in the Anga. All Gun ending words become Punlinga. Okay? So usually we see that it depends on the context. Here we know Ganya gives the gender of Punlinga. And this is relevant to what we were just talking about because Gun ending words declined as ending masculine. Like Rama. By the way, Rama is a Gun ending word. Okay, we're going to skip the Vigraha Vakya. Let's look at this example of Rama.
But Mahodaya, it is not an action though. Rama is a name.
Yeah, so we're going to see that. We're going to see that. Exactly. I'll show you this and then I'll explain that, exactly what you said. Derivation of the word Rama, a Gan Pratyaya Anta word. Okay, so Ram Dhatu means to revel, to play. Ram plus Gan. This Ga and Na of Gan are 8 letters and hence they're removed. We're just left with Akara. Because Gan is a Nit Pratyaya, there's Vriddhi change on the short Akara. We're going to see these rules, but the Vriddhi can take place on the Akara between Ra and Ma. So A becomes A, so Ram becomes Ram. And then we just add them together, it becomes Rama. Okay? Because it is a Gan Pratyaya Anta Pratipadikam, Rama is masculine now, and it declines as ending masculine. Okay. Now the question that Hariprasad Ji says, okay, what does this have to do with the action? This is a noun. Now there's 2 ways, there's 2 schools in Sanskrit, if you can say. Okay, that's a little bit dramatic. So some people say that some words are just given by Bhagavan. Like Rama is just given. It's a name. Another school of people say that every word in Sanskrit comes from a dhatu. Every single word in Sanskrit originally has a dhatu. And then some suffix is added and it becomes and all the words. So there's one school that says that everything comes from a dhatu. Some people say that why are you trying to find the dhatu for everything? Some words are just how it is. So some people just say Rama, just say as Rama. But we can also see this word Rama, this is a Pratipadika. And the Pratipadika in the Ganya sense means reveling. In the Bhava sense means reveling. But it's a noun. It's right. The one, the entity which is reveling. So they say that the word Rama was given because they say Ramante Sarveshu Hridayeshu, the one who revels in the heart of all people is called Rama. Referring to, you can say, the qualities of Rama or consciousness reveling in the hearts of all people. So this word, you can say, is just a name, Rama, or it can have a deeper meaning that it means reveling. the reveling in all hearts is Rama. That consciousness which is reveling in all hearts is Rama. Does that make sense? Okay. So, one more example. Tyaj plus ganya. Gan is suffix to a dhatu tyaj. Ga and na, gun are 8 letters, hence they're removed. Gun, there's a vriddhi change that can take place, and it becomes tyaj plus a. Now, there's a sandhi rule that happens here, which we can see maybe next time because we don't have time, but the jakara becomes gakara. It gets replaced by kavarga. So ja becomes ga, so tyaga, tyag plus a becomes tyaga. So what it means is giving up or renunciation. Tyaj means to give up, giving up, or the act of renunciation, right? Tyaga. Okay. We only have 2 minutes, but I'll start this. What I wanted to start is a little bit of this explanation of why vriddhi takes place in some places and why, where and why, how this happens. Okay, so here are some, we're going back in the book, common changes. When a pratyaya is suffixed to dhatu, the dhatu is called anga, we know that. And vriddhi or guna can take place in that anga depending on the 8 letters of the pratyaya. So the 8 letters of the pratyaya tell you whether guna, vriddhi, or neither happens. Okay, so the dhatu gets the status of anga when the pratyaya is placed after it. Now, the vriddhi can take place in the anga when the pratyaya is nit or nit, meaning that when this nakara or this nakara are there as the 8th letter, then vriddhi will take place. One, for example, is gan, right? What we saw today, we saw that here. You see this letter? That is nit. Git. I'm not saying it right because it's hard to say. Okay. Now, so vriddhi will take place if it's nit or nit. Okay. Where can it take place? It'll take place at the last ik if the dhatu ends with ik. Okay. We'll see more about this in a second. Or it can take place at the penultimate short akara if the dhatu has one. What does penultimate mean? The second to last. So for example, this word pat plus gun. Does this end with an ik? Pat? No, it ends with the consonant ta. So this is not going to happen. But does it have a penultimate short akara? It has yeah. So the second to last letter is akara. So vriddhi is going to take place in that penultimate, meaning that becomes a. So you get pat, gun becomes akara, so you get patha. Ram you have that penultimate akara becomes Ram plus Rama. Why does this happen? Because the pratyaya of Gan is nit, git. Okay, more we'll see in our next class. Any questions on this? Neelamaji, I think you had a question a while ago. I don't know if it's connected to this or.
Yeah, it was regarding the word tyajam. Tyaja becomes tyaga. But a lot of times there is the tyaja also has that word has also been used in the Bhagavad Gita and tyaga both as well. So is there a reason where tyaja is used and tyaga is used?
So it depends. So it depends on what pratyaya is following. One. So but
For example, tyajamiti chapare, na tyajamiti chapare, and tyagi satma samavishto. So,
so you see it in both places. Yeah. So it depends, I think, on the pratyaya that follows it, whether that ga becomes jakara or not. But I'll check the Gita and I'll look into that.
Thank you.
That's my initial thinking.
Maybe one is a verb and the other is an action.
Yeah, I'm gonna look into that and see what
Tyajate is a verb.
it's the verb. But I wanted to see I'll look into those verses and see what it is there and why it is there. So I'll come back to that at the beginning of next class. Sometimes I say that and I totally forget to come back, but I'm trying to make this practice of writing down the questions afterwards and so that we can come back.
Thank you.
Mahodaya, when you say Ghan is a nit pratyaya, that means in Ghan we have got that ananasika na. Is that the reason why it is called nit pratyaya?
We have this letter.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. That's why it's called nit, because this letter is it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, we'll end here. Om Tat Sat, Shri Krishna Namaste.